Hey everybody, Dr. Heldman here at TikTok Education. I've been doing a bunch of movies on PowerShell, but I want to get back to Linux as well. So in this movie, I want to begin talking to you about Kali Linux, one of my favorite Linux distros. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to download it and install it in Oracle VirtualBox. So let's get started. Should be a lot of fun. On the screen in front of you, you can see that I have gone out to a website called OffSec. It stands for Offensive Security, and it's at offsec.com. These are the guys that are responsible for creating Kali Linux. They've been at it quite a while. It's a pretty mature product at this point in time, and they have a bunch of great certifications if you're interested in pursuing a certification. The OSCP, the Offensive Security Certified Pen Tester Cert, is very valuable. It's a difficult one to get, but it's super valuable. Anyway, this is the corporate website here. If I look for Kali, so the corporate's at offsec.com. If I go to Kali, it's at kali.org. Let me go up there and show this to you. This is initially what it looks like. And then if you say download, you select the download button here. You have a bunch of different downloads that you can grab. So you have some installer images. You can install Kali natively, like if you went and bought a laptop that you just want to run Kali on or something like that. You can install it on virtual machines. You can install it on ARM processors, which is really cool. You can get mobile Kali. It'll install on your phone. You can put it on the cloud. You can get containers for it and so forth. Now, what we're interested in are virtual machines. So I went ahead and right-clicked virtual machines, selected open link in new tab, and that's what this looks like here. So this is the pre-built installer image thing that you see. Now, let me go ahead and get back up here where I came from. I'm going to select virtual machines, pre-built virtual machines, and you can see that I have some choices. So I've got 64-bit, or 32-bit if I was installing on, say, an older version of perhaps a Raspberry Pi. And yes, it will run on a Raspberry Pi. Maybe I'd need the 32-bit version. But for the most part, we're interested in 64. And you can see that we have pre-built virtual machines. These are really cool because they're ready to rock and roll. You have machines that have been built for VMware, so it'll run fine on VMware or VMware Workstation Player. It runs in VirtualBox, which is my favorite virtual appliance, virtual tool. Hyper-V, which is Microsoft's virtualization product. And then QEMU, which is an open source virtualization product that runs, it's open source, so it's free, and you can download it and use it that way. So it's available on all these areas here. I'm going to go ahead and download it for VirtualBox. So I click the download button, and I save it to my software folder on my hard drive. And if you want, you can download the checksum as well. Maybe I'll download that as well. And I will take and copy this checksum, noting that this is a SHA-256 checksum. And then once we've downloaded it, we'll run the checksum against it to make sure that that's working. Okay, so we've got all that. So now let me take you out to PowerShell, where I'm going to run this checksum first. Now here's the download. This is a very large download. It's 3 gig. So what you do is you click this, and it's going to show you the location where it's at. And you can see that I put it in a software folder called Linux, and then I made a new folder for this called Kali Linux 2024. I'm in Windows 11. I don't use the Mac. So if I click up in this quick access toolbar, I'm going to copy that particular place where I want to go, because I need the path to tell a Linux or PowerShell where the location of the file is that I want to compare the output to. So I grab this, I highlight this, Control-C to copy, and then I come in here and I'm going to issue the command. So I'm going to say git file hash, and so when you have this checksum, you've got a hash that you have downloaded. And so this hash, when we do file hash here, we're saying get the hash on this software. what we're doing is we're telling it compare the hash that came down with the software to the hash that was included when they built the software. So if there's a difference between the two, you know that somebody has messed around with this software. I'll put in the path. Path, did I spell it right? Nope. And then what I'll do is I'll paste that location in. Now the location's got to be in double quotes. So we put this in double quotes here. We're telling it that we want to go in here and look for this. And then we know that in our case, our algorithm is SHA-256. And so we'll get a key output for it. I'm sorry, I had to get that file name as well, so let me go copy that file name. I wasn't thinking about that. So I will take and right-click and get the properties here. And I'll grab this file name right here because I have to have that to get the output for that SHA-256. I'll come in here, up arrow, and then I will append this with a backslash, paste. And now what I'm doing is I'm telling it to get the file hash, go into this path, d:\software Linux Kali, blah, 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 and everything's in double quotes here. This is a big string that we're putting in here, and then tell it that the algorithm is SHA-256. The algorithm could be MD5 or something else, so it's worth your while to make sure that you understand what the algorithm is. And so let's go back to the Kali website and make sure that we've got the right one. Yep, it's SHA-256, so we're good to go there. We'll come back and look at this. The way to look at these checksums, what I do is I look at the start like 3 Bravo 46, 7 Bravo Charlie 1 at the end, and that'll be close enough to get us to where we need to go. So we hit enter, and it calculates that value, and there it is, 3 Bravo 46, 7 Bravo Charlie 1. So we know that this is the correct hash. And what that means is that no one has tampered with this when I downloaded it to my computer. Now, is it important to always run, the hash on something? I don't know. It just depends, I guess, depending upon how useful it is to you. But something like this where you're downloading software that you're going to use in a production type environment or you're learning, it's probably worth your while to grab the file hash and make sure that you understand what that's about. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up the File Explorer. I'm going to right-click this thing, and I used to open with 7-zip, but I'm going to try extracting all. It looks to me like in Windows 11 now it's been adjusted so that it will take the 7-zip downloads. So I'm going to extract all, and it comes over here. I'm okay with it extracting it to this folder. And then show extracted files when complete. So I'm going to extract it and see what it finds. This will take a minute, so I'll put you on hold while this is doing its extraction. Okay, once it's done unzipping, you can see that it has created a folder here. And if I double click into this folder here, there's actually 2 of them. So it creates one folder with that name and a second folder with that name. And this is the sweet spot here. This is what we're looking at. So we've got a VirtualBox here, and then you can see what size it is. It's only 3K. And then we have a virtual disk image here, which is pretty large, 14 gig here. So all we have to do is you can double click this and launch Oracle VirtualBox right away, or we can go into VirtualBox. So let me do that. Right then, here you are in Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager. This looks like the Pope's hat there, doesn't it, on the background of my screen, but it's actually a skyscraper. It does look like the Pope's hat, though. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a place for a new machine. So I'm going to type new, and I'm going to type in the name Kali Linux 2024. I'm going to put it in. I like to save these all in different locations with my VirtualBox stuff. So I'm in Windows VirtualBox VMs. I created a new folder here called Kali Linux 2024. I'm going to select that folder. ISO image doesn't need to be selected. I don't want 32-bit Linux. I'm going to go with Kali. Doesn't show up in there. It's a Debian-based Linux, so you could come up here and just select Linux 64-bit probably be the best way to go on this. So it's Linux 64-bit, let it know 64-bit code, click Next. Now I'm going to jack this up, so I want to put in, I'm probably going to give it 8 gig of RAM. I don't know if you have that much on your computer. I purposely, when I made this video editing computer, I purposely bought a bunch of RAM for it, so it's got quite a bit of RAM on it. But, you know, give it as much as you can when you're working with Kali, because anything like this that has a bunch of tools is going to run out of steam if you don't give it enough space to run in. Likewise, I think I'm going to go ahead and give it at least 4 CPUs and click Next. Now here's the secret. You don't want it to create a VDI. You want to go ahead and point to a VDI. So what you do is you say use existing virtual hard disk drive, upload this, click add over here. You can see we've already done Ubuntu. We don't need that. I'm going to add, and I'm going to go looking for this. So it's under data, software. Where's Linux right there? Kali 2024. Come in here, and I'm going to grab this VDI right here, this 14 gig VDI, and double click that. And click it and click open. Beautiful. Then it comes in here and you say, okay, I want to go ahead and choose this one to use. Click Next. Click Finish. Okay, now it's got some stuff in here. Everything's cool. I'm going to go ahead and go into Settings. And you could do some advanced work here, like I'm going to enable bidirectional on both of these. I don't need a description, although if you load up the pre-included version, it does have a encryption. It doesn't have an encryption loaded, but it does have a description with it. Encryption is not running, and I never run it. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the floppy and move the hard disk up to the top of the boot order and the optical in the second. Shows 8 gig of RAM. I've got 4 processors sitting over here. I'm going to enable these things here, and acceleration is enabled, so that looks good. By the way, this stuff, these checkboxes here, it depends on if you have hardware virtualization enabled on the motherboard or not. Most modern motherboards allow you to enable hardware acceleration, so I recommend turning that on, because the more you can do in hardware and not in software, the better off you are. Display, I don't care about. Everything's cool there. Storage is cool. Click Audio. Click Network. Network is set to NAT. If you get in trouble with networking, try bridged adapter, but I don't think you will. I think NAT's going to work okay. And then click OK. Let's go ahead and start the machine. And it's going to take a minute. It'll come up and it'll start running, but it takes a minute for it to prepare itself and get ready for its new existence. Now you can click this to make it go full screen, and it will work on Kali Linux. I'm going to put you on hold while this boots up. Okay, so the login here, my username is Kali, my password is Kali, and I click Login. And then this will take just a minute to boot up. I'll come back to you as soon as it's booted. All right, so here we are. We're looking at the new Kali screen, and if you don't like it looks like a tire, doesn't it? You can right-click and go to Desktop Settings, and you could change the picture if that's something that you wanted to do. And then the only thing I would like to point out right now is that the terminal window is right here. You also have PowerShell and root terminal emulator available to you. So you've got to know what it is that you're picking. We want to be able to get to the terminal window here, and then you would probably want to make some adjustments to the font and everything, go into preferences and change the font colors and all that kind of stuff. For example, I've got 10 point here. That's a little small for me to be able to read, so I'm going to, for purposes of recording, I'm going to bump this up to 24 and click Apply. Click OK. So there's my terminal window that we can use later on, and I think it keeps it for the session, so we're good to go there. Now, the Kali menu is right here. It's this little dragon, so when you click this, you're going to get all of the different apps. We'll go into that at a later point. One thing I do think you should do is run a sudo apt update right now to get the latest and greatest from Kali rolling. You'll need to type in the password for Kali and hit enter. And what this does is it checks your networking to make sure that you're able to get out to Kali rolling. That's a good thing. You see here it says get, and so everything's working that way. If you had a problem, you'd have to go back and revisit and troubleshoot and try and figure out what it is that's happening, why you're not able to get out to the Kali website. And then you can see here that it installed everything. Everything looks good, upgraded. And you could run AppList upgradable. I don't care about that right now. Don't run sudo apt upgrade unless you're wanting to be on the bleeding edge of the code. First of all, it's going to take a couple of hours to go through the upgrade. It's a big honking thing. And second of all, you may get something that breaks. So I would just stick with sudo apt update, although you can try running sudo apt upgrade as well. But for us, this is going to be fine for us. So here we are, we're in Kali. Now we're ready to start exploring Kali. Now you've got some choices when you get ready to shut this machine down. If I click the shutdown box here, I can shut down, and what it's going to do is it's going to make a call to Oracle VirtualBox to shut the machine down. Suspend means that I'm going to keep everything running like it is right now, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down. And what this will do is this will keep track of, it'll send a shutdown command to Kali, it'll shut it down, and boom, away it goes. So everything's orderly and ready to go for the next time you log in. Okay, I hope that helps. We're going to do a lot more with Kali, so I just wanted to run you through getting the basics installed. Virtualization is a super cool way of finding out about new software and how it works before you go in and try to put it into a production environment. So please, if you like these videos, please like them, subscribe to them, tell your friends about it. I'm trying to grow the channel, and you're welcome to make comments. I love having comments from you guys. They really make my heart go pity-pat because you send me a lot of nice comments. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.